Back here with you. Seem to have lost the signal there for a second. Hopefully we're back on the stream. We'll give it a few here and check to make sure everybody can see and hear us okay. As we come back to you here, we had a lot of people that were watching earlier, so hopefully you're finding the new updated link to the stream. And so I'm just going to check some of our kind of devices here and make sure you can see and hear us okay. Hello, we're back. Technology sometimes, okay? We're going to continue to monitor all this for you. Fortunately, we don't have a lot right now ongoing, but there you go. If you guys can see and hear us okay, give us another thumbs up where you're watching from and that all is good on your end so that we can kind of continue to deliver and kind of tell you guys what is happening here on our end. So there we go. We've got Westville in the house. Mattoon is here. Monticello is here. But yeah, so again, if this same kind of thing happens again later on, what will happen is we'll restart the stream. You just may have to go back, refresh the page that you were on, and then we'll be back with you just in case, the stream loses, how things can be in the internet and sometimes. And so if it drops off, always go back to whatever page you were on, do a refresh. It may take us a couple minutes after, but we'll kick the stream back on. It'll just maybe a new link that you have to watch. So again, if you lose us again, hopefully you can find us and we'll just keep roll with the punches, folks. That's what we're going to do here today and take each storm one by one, each kind of round one by one, and then kind of get you through. All right, let's take a look at things right now on the Storm Tracker Doppler, where the worst of it is. And let's see where Jacob's at. So Jacob's down there, basically near the Bement area. And we're going to pull up his camera here. Give me a second. And we're going to go to him and then talk to him about what he is seeing. All right. There's Jacob. We've got his view up here. Now we're going to turn on his audio. And Jacob, tell us where you're at and what you're seeing.
Hey, Kevin, this is that line. Maybe some folks heard it. I'm not sure. But the line is kind of back in the rain where this wind is. So this is going to be the leading edge of the wind. And there's a lot of low clouds that are here. And there's a lot of rising motion in them. And so this storm still has some bite to it here. We're just north of Bement, past the Township Cemetery now, on our way to Monticello, getting close to halfway in between. And I think we'll have a chance to see if there is any wind in this storm. We'll be getting that pretty quickly here. It looks like that wind signature kind of coming into our position now. So just kind of watching things here. It was weird because we had some moderate rain ahead of it that obscured this. And I drove through it, got through Bement, and then could see that leading shelf cloud from the storms. They were kind of embedded or maybe behind that initial line. And so that's what you're seeing here with those dark clouds as we're getting ready to drive into it and see what is going on. Again, looking north towards Monticello on 105 here, Kevin. We'll check back in a minute to see if there's anything that we spot with the wind. This might be the area where it tries to do something. And so if that's the case, I'll have another report for you shortly. Live in the Storm Tracker between Bement and Monticello, I'm Jacob Dickey. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Jacob. So he'll be watching things there as he comes in there between Bement and Monticello. That is his location. We just have to watch these things go through, some different kind of cycles and whatnot. And, they quickly can start to get a little squirrely. And so we have to just kind of keep an eye on them. As we look at, the radar there's just a little area. There's some stronger winds. The little pocket there of winds, maybe just kind of coming into Monticello. See those little pink colors, but there may be some strong winds just on that leading edge of that little piece right there. And you can kind of see it right here. You might have some stronger winds. So we're watching that carefully, and that eventually is going to go off here to the east. And so, yeah, you may be watching us in other areas here from Mahomet down to Seymour as those storms begin to move in. All right. Adam.
Yeah, right now, Kevin, we're watching actually from Geese Memorial Stadium, looking out to the west, and we're starting to see the rain in the first part. Haven't seen anything in terms of looking at, kind of that shelf cloud or anything that would be like, hey, more of those features we've been talking about, the striations or anything. We've just been watching the rain as it starts to move this way. First little bit of rain, the heavy rain still aloft. So that's why we're out to the west. That's why we haven't really seen really any big darkening or anything like that right now. We already got the clouds from earlier, and it looks all quiet and calm, but I think the rain's going to pick up here pretty quickly in Champaign, already outside of the county, starting to see some of that we just mentioned a little bit ago. I mean, Jacob's right down the road in Monticello, driving north to that way towards where that rain is. So we're going to keep an eye on this camera. I suspect we'll see a little bit less of town, but still a good soggy view right now. Again, not seeing too much. It's not as dark and gloomy and scary. Oh, there's a little bit of flash of lightning right there. You'll definitely see some of that on camera as this gets a little bit closer and closer. But we're getting the first little bits of rain before we start to get a little bit more of that deluge coming through. So not as kind of creepy looking as what some of the other camera views we're looking at, but we're getting our first hits of rain in Champaign County right now. Back to you.
All right. Appreciate the update there. Again, watching these storms move in. So things maybe kind of evolving, changing a little bit with how this later afternoon round is going to develop. We're still kind of watching things here, but this first round, as it pushes through, we're going to wait and just see kind of how long it lingers around, and then kind of see that second round as it may start to get going. But right now, the strongest storm that we've got is this one that's probably coming into Mahomet Seymour. But even when we look at it, it doesn't look like it's super impressive. You're going to get some heavy rainfall there. But right now, they've opted not to carry that warning off into Champaign County. So that's some good news. As we kind of look at this whole complex, as of right now, we still just have that one warning. But look at some of those storms that are trying to form down there. Maybe might start to clip Christian County. You've got Macoupin and Montgomery County, a little cell down there. That one looks a little bit more ominous than some of the other ones. And then, yeah, there's that little secondary line that is back out here to the west. We're going to watch that. So almost a couple different rounds. It'll be curious to see if this one strengthens at all, if this starts to, start to do anything or not.
I know that model data earlier was showing that this first line came through, and then that second line that you're pointing at right now, Kevin, that was the one that they were kind of starting to pick up a bit more on the HRRR a little bit earlier today. I don't think that's going to pan out necessarily, but I do think it's something to still keep an eye out for, too, to see if there's any credence to what those runs were saying earlier. It just felt like we didn't have much of a drop between earlier this morning and that HRRR run, and then for the first run showing this, and then going to the next round, too. So we'll see if that does play out, but I don't know if it's going to be that quick of a turnaround. It'll be a quick turnaround, though, between the two opportunities for severe weather.
All right. So again, this stuff up here, not looking to be not looking terrible right now. So that's good news. That we'll watch, and then this we'll watch too. And I know we're already it's 11:10 a.m. and the calls for, well, they got it wrong again. Look at them. Imagine that. Nothing happened. And what I'll tell you folks is just chill. All right. How about that? Just chill. We still got more storms that are going to come in here. And this is, we always said that this first round may not be, much, and that second round could be the real deal. Now, the question is where is that placement going to be for where we think those really severe storms are going to be on that second round? And that's what we've got to kind of redefine potentially here soon. So right now, if you look at the Storm Prediction Center, their outlook still has that moderate risk draped right across the middle of our area. Okay. So that might get adjusted. Let's see. The next SPC update. What time is it? So we're at 11:11, and as they say, make a wish. 11:11, make a wish. I know what mine would be today. Maybe yours is different, but we're going to see if they adjust this outlook. And so we've got the outlook. I think is it 11:30 or 12:30? I can never remember.
11:30.
Is it 11:30 update?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you, we seem to have some slow web traffic today. I'm trying to kind of update things I've noticed. So I'm curious to see if the Weather Service, redefines the area for the moderate risk, if it shifts at all. And, that's something we're going to see. So that update's going to come here in about 18 minutes. So this graphic you see here could change. It'll be the first real kind of change to the outlook map that we've had, through yesterday. So I'm just really curious to see what the Storm Prediction Center is going to do with their outlook on this. This was done this morning, before this first round came through. And we always said that we wouldn't fully kind of understand how things may, go until we get this first round to kind of come through the area. So that's what we are looking at here right now. Looks like Jacob's there in Monticello. Pull over there. We're here still tracking storms for you in the Weather Center today. Let's see what happens here with this next little round. Back to the radar. There's Champaign. Storm's just getting ready to come. But we probably can't. I noticed we weren't seeing a whole lot on our Champaign camera. There wasn't a whole lot of definition to that shelf cloud. Yeah, we just looked like a
Wall of gray.
wall of gray. A little wall of gray there, a little murky sky. All right, here's what I'll do once again for you folks, because I know a lot of people are asking. I'll just tell you this. The models, they have poorly handled some of this so far from a kind of a timing aspect. So we take the models with a little bit of a grain of salt here today. We have to almost kind of turn into what we call a little bit of a now casting. We just kind of see what's going on right now and then adjust to that. So, it's close. It's got this little line coming through. But watch what kind of happens here. So this is noon. Here comes 1 o'clock. And that little secondary line, we're going to have to watch and see if see down there towards Taylorville, that kind of southern end looking a little bit stronger as this first little wave pushes through. And then that may push down to, Effingham. And then those storms start to go maybe towards Coles County a little bit with this first round. But then we look out here to the west of that. We get this line to move through and that sun comes out a little bit. There may be that corridor from Bloomington back to Lincoln that we're watching in Jacksonville for those individual discrete cells through 5 o'clock. That's always been the thinking of this, was that 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock time frame where we really need to be paying attention. So again, right now, I know a lot of you are going, well, boy, we haven't really seen a whole lot here yet. Does that mean that that we're good, that we're in the clear? And that is absolutely not the case. We're on here this morning being a little proactive, telling you guys what to expect with these storms as they move in. And again, so far, we have had limited severe weather come through with all of this, which we absolutely love to see. But that doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. And we think that the later storms will pose that higher threat.
Just heard thunder at the studio.
A little thunder here. So again, look at this little guy here. So that thing's looking a little bit stronger. That's going to be coming close to maybe the Morrisonville area. It's over Farmersville, right there along I-55, just south of Vernon. And so we'll have to just look at those little guys as they, if those start to look a little bit more intense. Right now, the stuff coming through Champaign. Oh, there's a little thunder there. Let's see what the lightning's like on some of these. There's a handful of lightning. Oh, actually, that one was pretty close to us here. So a handful of lightning strikes on the storms. But when we kind of look at it, ooh, look at that line back out here. And again, the amount of lightning, often an indicator of, the intensity of storms. And a lot of lightning on that little second line that has formed back out there to the west. So we're going to watch that one as it starts to kind of clip into the area. You can see a few more lightning strikes, obviously, with our storm down here. But the rest of this, this stuff up here in Watseka and Paxton and Hoopeston, not as bad. We don't even have any lightning strikes with that. The only little areas here coming into Champaign right now. The other thing that we're going to watch and see, what kind of outflow boundaries get set out from these morning lines of storms. If you recall last week, we had that happen, kind of had that first round, left some outflow boundaries, and eventually those storms they started to spin off of those. And that created, still obviously seeing the potential for those storms to interact with those boundaries, and that is always a concern. So 2, 3, let's say 3 areas. We're just watching this little area here right now, not intense and not warned. No more warnings are in effect here. It's 11:17, no warnings. This guy down here we're going to watch, this may kind of cut across southwestern Christian County and then may come here into Shelby County. So those of you here watching, boy, I'm just noticing the lightning starting to pick up here at the station too. I'm just kind of watching our tower camera here. And so we're starting to see a few more of those lightning strikes that are kicking in. And then back here to the west, here's another one of those little lines that's moving through. So those of you in Champaign right now, not severe. It is a pretty good little storm, but right now, nothing severe at this moment. But we're going to catch a pretty good little thunderstorm here in Champaign, Urbana, Thomasboro, Savoy. I think that the storms here right now, I'm not seeing, a whole lot of wind in there, but we definitely are going to see quite a bit of lightning and some heavy, heavy rain as this comes right into the area. We are going to be watching that kind of south end of this. And here's what I'm going to show you guys. Down there towards Ivesdale, we're just going to keep an eye on this kind of southern end. Got a little feature here that got my attention a little bit. We'll just watch that. It doesn't look anything major, but this little area right here we'll watch. So that may kind of slide in here, Sadorus, Tolono. As of right now, literally just some heavy rainfall. And as I mentioned, quite a few lightning strikes. You can look at those lightning strikes that have just happened. I mean, right here in the downtown kind of Champaign area and Urbana, starting to come across actually near I-57. So we're going to start to see a little bit of an increase in that activity. And that is always an indicator there. Maybe the storm trying to strengthen a little bit. So St. Joe, be paying attention here. If this thing ramps up, it doesn't take long sometimes for them to kick up a little bit more. I don't have an immediate concern for it to do something, but definitely something to watch out for. I got to tell you, our storm is down here to Montgomery County. It's a lot stronger. It's probably dropped a little bit of hail there near Farmersville. A lot of farmland down in that area of Montgomery County. So that's on 55. That may come towards Morrisonville, southwestern portions of Christian County over the next few minutes or so. We'll watch how that continues to develop. But as of right now, we don't have any warnings in effect, not even for storms that are back here to the west, which I won't be surprised if these eventually become warned. Some severe thunderstorm warnings. Won't be surprised as that may start to intensify just a tad. All right. See what things look like here at the station again from our studio camera. Again, I've just been kind of watching out of the corner of my eye, and we've had quite a few little lightning strikes here getting close to the station. It's always my fear of getting hit by lightning here in this morning round. Knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood. Yeah. Adam just gave me the dirtiest look, man. As the lights go dark. You can see little flashes there of lightning as this storm comes right in. So we're going to be watching things from our camera that we can see here on top of the studio, and then our camera here down on the ground and along Neal Street. As many people make their way, into work. I have actually heard about some businesses, and even some, daycare schools that might even decided to kind of close early than what is normal, just out of precautions for the later storms that could be moving in.
We've been getting emails in the newsroom about events being canceled for today, classes, like little individualized classes that people can take, and even some some of those few more opportunities for meetings and stuff happening today. So some of them out of abundance of caution, they've been like, hey, let's just skip for tonight. Because here's the thing, a lot of this activity that we've been talking about for the last couple of days, yes, we have severe weather for this morning that we're kind of keeping an eye out for, but it's this afternoon, it's this evening. That's been kind of the main focal point the whole time. I don't want people thinking that, oh, we're talking now, after this moves out, we're done for the day. That was never one of the cases where we thought this would be it for the day. We've got still a lot of the day left. It's not even lunchtime yet, and we're already starting to talk about these stronger storms. It's going to be round 2 that we really want to focus in on, and that's where we're going to really start to lock in here fairly soon. Also, looking out towards Havana and out that way, I already heard a report that Rushville has gotten a marble-sized hail already for this morning, so that's something to keep an eye out for. Maybe some of these stronger cells picking up a little steam there, maybe picking into some of that instability that's getting flown in, because again, this is not instability that's homegrown. It's instability that's going to be advected in from the south and west over the afternoon hours. Again, those winds are going to pick up a bit more. This is all kind of a recipe for really something you'd see in the springtime, which I think, Kevin, you might be able to agree with me. This is a really weird setup for June, maybe in May or April, but not so much for June. Am I right? I feel like we don't get these kinds of jets this late into the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely rare. We're getting more of a wintertime, wind field aloft, jet streak. The polar jet is down in our area in June. That doesn't happen. That retreats to the north this time of the year, so we don't get that. Then combine that with that strong surge of moisture, from the south. Those come together, and that's why things are a little bit out of hand. I read a funny comment over here from Jill, and we're talking about how is this going to evolve? And I know there's already some people out there going, oh, nothing's going to happen. She goes, I'm okay with this being a nothing burger and you guys being wrong. I'll be just fine with that. And I think a lot of people are along that sentiment too. I do think it's kind of weird for some people that either wish for bad weather or get mad that if we forecast bad weather and then it doesn't happen, and then they get mad about it. Strange. That's
the only
time
way
of thinking.
Only time I like to be wrong is when there's severe weather. That's the only time I like to be wrong.
We love that. We're not saying that's going to happen. It's always a possibility. It's Mother Nature. Things happen here. But we're here to just tell you the possibilities, the forecast, predicting the future. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst here. And that's what we've got here. So there's my little soapbox moment there for you. We are watching the storms still rolling through. It's got a little stronger there. Just kind of rolled through. Boy, that's up there near where they had the tornado last week. Came ripped right across. Again, I'm not seeing a tornado here, folks, but definitely some heavy rainfall and some lightning strikes
starting
in there.
to pick up here at the station too.
Yep, so starting to pick up a little bit here now along the station. But definitely heavy rainfall there from Thomasboro back down to Urbana. Here, let's see what our camera looks like here. Oh, there's somebody running across the road. Hurry. It's starting to come down here, a little bit heavier here at the studio. Here's our camera now on top, and you'll see it as the heavy rain starts to pick up even more. Again, this could lead to, some urban kind of flash flooding. That can occur with some of these storms as they move through because they just drop such heavy rainfall.
The spots that you normally would see a little bit of flooding pick up, like the usual suspects, that's where we could see that for today too. Those corners of those streets or, sometimes those viaducts around town that just always seem to flood over, some ponding in some of those spots in the field. Again, those are the spots that are probably going to get the culprit of a little bit more flooding for today, possibly, but not area-wide, huge, ginormous spots of flooding, hopefully. But right now, it looks like it's going to be very individualized, locale kind of stuff.
And definitely some heavy rainfall here. Again, nothing severe at this moment, surprisingly. There was concern, this first round, boy, could it roll through and have some really intense winds. And here's the thing, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. It's been 10 o'clock in the morning. We haven't realized, the usual full potential of the heating and the instability and things maxed out like that you get in the, late afternoon when that's the peak heating of the day. And so, while there are some maxed out parameters on wind shear and other things, there's not a ton of that instability just yet. And we think that increases here. So this is kind of a warm front that's lifting through. And so, with the lack of any real instability so far, that's why these storms have not really done a whole lot yet. But what will happen is, and let me see if I can't show you guys something here real quick. I think I can. Let me pull up. So this is showing instability. All right, so look at some of the colors here. So this is instability. And notice here, Champaign, we don't have any. Danville, Farmer City, there's really not much there. Even Springfield, Lincoln, we don't have it. It's down here. It's Charleston. It's Effingham. It's down here near Litchfield. The temperatures are in the mid 70s there. It's too cool up here. It's cooler temperatures. You've got, the dew points are lower. Let me see if I can click the dew point. Dew points are in the 50s in Champaign. You're not going to get severe weather oftentimes with that. But look how they start to come up here. Okay. Now here's what I want to do is show you guys the model prediction. And just bear with me as I fire some of this up. I'm going to show you the model prediction for instability for later on. And what it's going to show is how it does increase. Okay, so here, again, the colors are a little bit different, but still kind of similar concept. Here's your instability here at 11 a.m. Watch what happens. Starts to grow. That's 1 o'clock. That's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Okay, so we're getting at least some of that instability starting to increase enough to where with those storms coming through, they tap into more of that. You need that instability. You also need, the temperatures, the dew point to increase. Let's just watch the dew points here that are into the 50s, as we mentioned. Look at them jump into the 60s, the upper 60s. So this is that moisture that will start to move in here later on. And then that is the concern for, that 5 o'clock time frame. Look at some of this 70-degree dew points that are starting to push in Springfield, Clinton area. And I think that we may, it's going to be, I think, maybe a little bit more in this area here. They're going to have to watch out for those storms. Let's look at a couple other different parameters here that give us, a little bit of an idea of how storms may evolve. We call it the significant tornado parameter, and there's definitely still some of that there. And we look at how the radar might look later on. So we've got this first wave coming through, right? And then we start to get these little individual cells. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of looking out here towards Springfield a little bit more, Decatur, maybe eventually down into Coles County. These cells, each one of these cells might be rotating a little bit. It'll be real curious to see just how far north some of that severe weather could be. We may see things get pulled, just a little bit more to the south potentially on a future update. We'll see what the Storm Prediction Center does.
Just waiting for it.
You're waiting for it, right? It's 11:30 a.m. They should have that update coming into us here pretty soon, and so we'll see.
Double check to make sure it's still 11. I'm pretty sure it's 11.
Should be 11:30.
11:30. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's the 11:30 update. Let me see here. So this is the one that they would have issued here this morning. So that's the question is, does this get updated? Sorry about that, folks. We'll click this back on so you can see it again. Does that get updated and changed to something else? And that's kind of what we're going to wait to see if, because here's the thing. We are a couple of meteorologists in here. Storm Prediction Center has some of the best in the world. and there's a whole slew of them out there. And so, you know, they do a good job at these things. And so we'll see if they decide to update this law or change it. I know that they're doing the same thing that we're doing, kind of looking at exactly what's going on right now. Okay, so the new one came out, just issued here, and I don't see a ton of change from it. I don't know if it's hit our computer here or not yet. Bear with me. Okay, yeah, so it
looks like it did move some of that stuff south. I mean, it's not as
slightly
far north.
more south.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Effingham, they were kind of in it.
No, they weren't in it. Yeah, they weren't in it. And they moved a little bit more east too earlier today into Indianapolis, and it looks like they're keeping that track too.
Okay, so again, moderate still in effect. It is not on the high end. This just came out. This is the new outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. That is the update. They pulled it down just a little bit. So it's less of, that moderate was actually up in Kankakee earlier. It was up in, you know, Streeter and the Dwight areas, and it's kind of just been pulled down a little bit. And it's pulled down a little bit closer to Effingham now, down, you know, all of Clark County now, Jasper, Newton, just kind of clipping. So that's kind of that's the newest update from the Storm Prediction Center. And again, we're just looking at all of this with you guys together right now. Let's see how much the tornado risk has changed.
Not really.
So not a ton, but I think it's just amazing the thoughts of how the recovery is expected to be behind the line of storms that we've got. I mean, they still clearly anticipate there being that potential for tornadoes to still exist. When that instability starts to rise a little bit more, you get more of that warm front to push through. Because at the surface, that warm front is, let me see, how can I show that? I don't know if I've got that pulled up in my system here. No, we can look at it by just looking at the temperatures potentially. And obviously the warm front is north of Effingham. It's just knocking on the door to Springfield. So basically kind of where the oranges start to touch the yellows and the greens. That's where the warm front is located right now. And that's going to continue to basically move to the north. And as that happens, then we'll start to see a little bit more explosive development for those additional storms. But yeah, it's too cool right now. And when those start to go up, then that's when things start to change. So 11:35, currently no warnings in effect. This complex here, moving in, again, too warm. But look how these storms that are right on the warm front are starting to strengthen just a little bit. Just a little bit down here. No warning on them yet. But if you're down there near Pana, we'll be watching that. If you're down there near, you know, eventually Cowden, maybe even Shelbyville, if that thing starts to go a little bit to the east. We'll watch those storms. And then again, this line that is back out here to the west, we'll see what that one does. And so the warm front will be the focus for additional storms to form the later that we get into today. So right now, not a whole lot happening in terms of that severe potential, but we anticipate as the warm front pushes in, the dew points increase, the temperatures increase, and that could eventually allow for the development of those stronger storms later on today. Especially, I think I start to lean a little bit more across maybe our kind of, when we look at that storm outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, just kind of looking at the parameters here, how far north does some of that moisture get? Maybe we look at this. If we cut that in half, maybe that southern half standing the best chance for tornadoes. No, there's a chance everywhere here that if you're watching us in central Illinois, all of our county, everybody's under at least an enhanced, and then you've got that moderate there. But if we want to get really granular and micro scale on this, then if I split that moderate in half, maybe the southern half, that's just me kind of looking at things here on the fly as things are happening. We are getting ready for our noon show here. It's going to come up here in about 22 minutes. So what we may opt to do is we'll kind of switch over to our coverage, maybe up on our studio upstairs for a bit. Maybe bounce back a little bit between the newscasts and whatnot. But since we got a lot of you here on the stream, we don't want to abandon you. So we'll be kind of swapping back and forth here.
You get to join me for the noon show.
Well, yeah, there you go. You join Adam for the noon show. You can have both. You can have the iPad and the TV if you want. So no warnings here right now. So we're just going to take I'm going to pause here for just a second, maybe a 3 or 4 or 5 minute break, and then we'll come back with you here in just a second. So just stand by. I know we've got several thousand of you that are watching here right now. Nothing is severe at this moment. If a warning pops on, we'll immediately jump back on. We're going to get ready for the noon here. I'm going to leave this up. Now, do me a favor, those of you that are in the chat. Okay, do me a favor. When the people start coming on saying, hey, I can't hear anything. There's no audio. I can't hear. Be a little moderator in the chat and say, hey, there's no audio right now. They're going to be right back real soon. Okay? And that's what we'll do for you here. So we'll come back here in just a little bit and we'll talk more. Jacob, where are you at? Somebody's asking, where's Jacob at? I don't think I have his camera anymore. He's out there somewhere.
He's at the same spot he was earlier.
Same spot. Yeah, he was saying he was going to dive. He's going to start diving south.
Yeah, he's just north of. So, he's up by Codwell.
South from Pearson. Okay.
South of Beeman.
Todd says he's going to say it's all my fault. What is my fault? Nothing's my fault. Come on. All right, we'll be back to you guys here in just a second. Stand by. Okay, folks. Hopefully back with you. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay as we've kind of switched over here up in our WCA3 Plus studio now. If you can see and hear us okay, give us a little shout out and let me know that you can see and hear us okay. Are you guys there? All right, you can hear and see us now. Again, audio is back. All right, we're back up here with you folks. All right, coming up to you here from the WCA3 Plus studio at this point, as we kind of talk about what to expect here as we go throughout the course of tonight, today, and what's happening here right now. I'll just tell you this, as of right now, this first round, and in the words of somebody that was in chat earlier, they said, boy, this is a real nothing burger so far. And so far it has been. And we kind of thought all along that, the opportunity for this to be the weaker round was going to be the case. But we still have that potential for more storms as we get into later on today. All right, loud and clear. Again, perfect. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, just get my bearings straight. Adam is during the newscast down there, and there's Jacob. We got Jacob on the stream too. We're gonna see. We've had some troubles in the past in hearing Jacob's audio, but we're gonna try to see if we can get him when we come to him here in a little bit. Is that thumbs up for me, Jacob? I can't tell if that thumbs up for me or for Adam. It's for me. Is it for me? Okay, it's pointing to me. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's see here. See if we can't just give it a shot here. Jacob's on that there. Just couldn't ever figure out how to get Jacob's audio. Jacob, can you talk for me? Just talk for me.
Hey, Kevin. It's a nice rainy day here in Moultrie County where I'm at right now. Can you hear me just fine, Kevin? I hear myself.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Yeah, go ahead and talk.
Okay, I'll keep talking, and Kevin's playing around with things. So he's up in the digital studio, and I'm in the storm tracker here now. Those of you watching online, I am actually making my way south here. I kind of thought, the morning storms have been a little further south than maybe anticipated, and also been a little bit more rainy, which helps to lock in that cold pool. We eventually expect the warm and stable air to really lift northward, but it may hit that wall. So I'm kind of heading down to Mattoon Charleston right now. There's two reasons for that. One, there's a rather stronger looking storm south of Taylorville. Nothing intense in that now, nothing severe, but it's on the stronger side. And I'm keeping my eyes on that. That may carry through southern Shelby County into northern Effingham County. And so just wanted to leave that in play. Number two, while we have that moderate risk, is the better chance to get something to occur in that. And so we'll kind of watch and see with these trends, but still, wherever you are, you got to be weather aware today. And that's kind of what the thought process is today. So kind of playing both of that. And number three, Kevin, I think you can still hear me now, Kevin. I might get lunch at a certain place in Mattoon. Not sure if I have time, but this puts me in position to make that intercept too. Kevin?
That's some great news. Oh. That's, wait, does that mean what I think it means? I think it means that you're heading to Burger King, maybe. I think that might be the case. All right. There he is.
That's right.
All right. Okay, so we'll keep checking in with Jacob here, watching this first round. Again, we are 12:06 p.m. Watching this first round kind of come through. This has been nothing here with this first round. Let's basically move through Champaign, Vermilion County. Good rainmaker, dropping some rain for sure, but so far nothing severe. Again, the better parameters. We're going to have to wait until we kind of get the warm front to live through and clear some of this rain out of the area. The Burger King, as people say, the Burger King. We've got, again, some storms down here from Nokomis to Pana. Little line there. The stuff back here has weakened a little bit, even to Springfield, New Berlin, not looking as bad. So we're really hoping this first round continues to be, and I keep using the term because I just like the term that somebody, I think it was Jill in the chat. She said, boy, I hope this is, you guys are wrong, and this is a nothing burger. Well, round one has been so far. That might change, but that second round, we've said that all along that the second round would be the one to watch out for. So as a meteorologist, it's a weird, thing for us to try to convey the messaging of, how a day like today could go, because we always think that we always thought the second round would be the worst. But, some of the models last night were saying, hey, watch out for that first round a little bit. Even this morning, the National Weather Service was saying, hey, this first round, it might have some intense winds with it. That has not been the case so far. But I know what it does to the psyche of some people, and they go, okay, well, they were wrong about that, so they'll probably be wrong about the later round. Hopefully, here's the thing. This is the one time I want to be wrong. Last night, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't sleep a lot because I was just thinking about, today and potential seriousness of what today could bring. And I hope we're wrong. I hope that the models are wrong. I hope that, everything is not going to come through like what it says. We've kind of dodged it on this first round so far, but all along we said that it was that 5 to 10 o'clock time frame would be the concern time. So it's kind of like that whole anticipation thing, right? It's like this big buildup, and you're waiting for it to happen, and then nothing happens in the beginning, and then you think, oh, okay, we'll probably be good. I just want to stress to people that we're not out of the woods here yet. That second round has always been the one that we were going to be the most concerned about. So I know we got a lot of people that are on edge and watching things. So oh man, some of you in the chat. Oh man. Gotta have some weird lives to say some of the things that you guys say. It's so crazy. Come say it to my face. How about that? Tracking storms here for you tonight. And again, that second round that may move through here later on today. I gotta tell you, this little line down here is looking a little bit more impressive, from Pana. Just west of Shelbyville, Nokomis. So we're going to watch that there. So far, so good. See what these winds do. Ooh, got some thunder here at the station. Let's see what the lightning's showing here. Some of these lightning strikes here showing up. Basically from Springfield there. So that little secondary line, it's got some, some lightning. Here, actually, we have Adam doing weather. I'm going to try to switch him up here right now and see if you guys can hear Adam. Give me a second here as we're going to pull him in and see what he's got. Stand by. Yeah, well, I tried to pull his audio in there, but it doesn't seem to want to work. Not sure if you guys can hear him or not. Yeah.
No.
Have to talk to our engineering staff about how to get that audio there.
Oh, can you still hear me, Kevin?
Sometimes. Well, here's what we'll do. I'm going to talk as Adam says what he's saying there. Well, he's on the 7-day now. So there's your 7-day forecast, folks. It's going to get a lot better here after we get through tomorrow. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday looks pretty good. But maybe some more storms there Sunday and into the day on Monday. I don't know. There you go, folks. And we're still doing our thing here. There's Jacob. Jacob stopped at I'm not sure what he stopped at. He stopped somewhere over there. He stopped there by a cornfield. So far, so good here, folks. First round. Just going to glance at some of the newest models. Maybe I'll try to share that newest model with you guys. Ooh, interesting. Okay, stand by here, folks. All right, stand by. New model coming in here still wants to blow storms up over the next few hours. I'm going to pull that up for you guys. So let me load it in here to the system. All right, I'm going to load up the new model. Interesting new model here. And which is why the Storm Prediction Center, I think, still has the risk area where it is. So let's look at it here. All right. So we've got this first line coming through. So this is what you're looking at. So you see in the upper left, there's your moderate risk. Okay. This first round, 1230. Moving through. 130, still kind of moving across. But look what happens. Look up there towards, say, Galesburg. And look at these storms here. that kind of get going just a little bit more. Sorry, I pulled up the wrong model for you. So here is that model projection. And then this stuff kind of rolls through, but watch what happens here at 4 o'clock. Start getting a little bit more of these little individual cells there. Look at that one that just kind of goes through Macon County and Southwest Champaign County down into Coles County eventually. I tend to lean towards basically, I-74 there and maybe just below that. Four, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. The models still show it. That hasn't changed. So if I had to kind of circle an area, let's see what I can do here. Okay. So I just circle, I'm kind of leaning more towards that area for these cells, right? All of these could eventually be, rotating later on. But that right there might be something. Let me just back this up. So when we look at this, I'm looking at this one. Those little individual cells there still show up. The question is just how far north, are those going to develop? And I lean a little bit, kind of that I-75 corridor to the south, just a little bit. Can't say for sure, but they just look a little bit. Notice the clearing that happens there, just a little bit there into Christian, Shelby County. Maybe that increases some of it. But that's the model. Jacob, you stopped there for a second. We've got you back up there now.
Hi, Kevin. Can you hear me?
Let's try to pull you back in here. Give me a second here. All right.
Kevin, can you hear me? Mic check.
Where are you at? We saw you stop there. Buy some corn.
Yeah, I think my mic might have been on the whole time here because I can hear myself still on the OBS studio. So you can confirm that later or whatnot. I actually went over to Windsor and I just wanted to take a peek over here at the storms to the south towards Shelby. But just wanted to make sure I was in position if I needed to get south and check them out. But I just don't think this morning stuff is going to do anything. And the concern here is, I'm looking at that same model you are, Kevin, and seeing that rapid storm development 2, 3, 4 o'clock back to the north. The idea here is that there's such fast destabilization, which doesn't happen all the time, but we're in that peak season where the sun does a lot of work in a quick period of time. So if this was April or if it was September or winter, I don't think we'd be talking about such rapid destabilization, Kevin. And so I'm just trying to, in my mind here, play my, how far back to the north do I want to go? Decatur, Champaign, Mattoon, Charleston, Tuscola, to me stands out, but it's all going to be about where's that destabilization, as you were mentioning, Kevin. So that's kind of what I'm trying to assess myself a little bit here now with some of the data and figure out what's going on. And you can always count on the first round to throw in a couple of wrenches and throw you off. But I think about, Kevin, is last Wednesday night, 10:30 p.m., we thought, oh, we're done with the severe weather. It doesn't look like there's much. And by midnight, I don't want to say we were caught off guard, but it was very surprising how fast all of a sudden those storms intensified. I think there may be some folks who say, oh, this first round they missed. And when that second round ramps up, it'll do that in a hurry. And so that's maybe the concern that I have as well here, is just kind of watching and keeping an eye on things. But, you know, those 80s and low 90s are just half of their area. We're in those 70s here. How much does that cold air play a role in us here? There's a lot of questions I still have, and I don't know if we'll have the answers until 2 to 4 p.m., Kevin. Back to you.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks for the update there. Again, folks, I'm trying to figure out the audio here, when we can hear him, when we can't, and all that. Were you guys able to hear Jacob there as he was just talking? I'm just so confused as to when they can hear him and when they can't. Such a strange
I still hear myself.
thing there, but we're trying to figure it out. There we go. So back with you here, just kind of watching the storms. Yeah, okay. They could hear you there. So I guess they can still hear you.
If you can hear me now, type the
Okay,
word
so do me a favor,
WCIA
Jake.
in the
I just want to test something out. All right, Jacob, come on camera if you can, and count down from 10 to 1, and I'm going to kill your audio at 5. So go ahead.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Okay, so I'm hoping that you guys heard his audio cut off there at 5. If I figured that out, and I may have figured out how to kill his audio and turn it on and off. So you guys let me know, did it cut off at 5? Or it did cut off at 5? Hey, we might have actually figured it out. Okay. All right. Cut off at 5. Yay, I figured it out. Okay. So now I turn his audio back on. Go ahead and talk for me.
Okay, Kevin. So I did not hear myself in my ears either, because my IFB is set to OBS. Anything that's output from that, you're talking or I'm talking, I hear myself talking 2-second delay. So it actually cut off there. So I think you may have had my mic on for a long period of time. If you saw people post WCIA in the comments also, I said, hey, if you can still hear me, comment WCIA. And I don't think you thought I was on at that point. So maybe you got it figured. So that's good.
Okay, yeah, I think
working the kinks out before the afternoon stuff.
Yeah, and again, and just for the folks here, I mean, like, this is our WCA3 Plus studio. We do things in during newscasts. We do that a lot, and so it allows Adam to do the newscasts down there, and then we can do our stuff up here. But listen, I'm going to show you guys. Here's the wide view. You'll enjoy this. Here's the behind the scenes. So we're up here. I'm like the director, producer, anchor, audio operator, all of the above. And so that's hello. Kind of give you the behind the scenes there. And so I'm trying to control everything here. So, I'm just the weather guy trying to do all of it. But all right, so we've got Jacob. So here's what we'll do. I'm gonna mute his audio for now. And so then he'll let me know if he wants to jump back on here. But he's gonna want to go get some lunch here before too long. Oh, you want back? Hold on here. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, I was just looking too. Power outage numbers are actually 31,000 across Illinois. And somebody messaged me and said they are out of power by Mansfield. So it looks like in Piatt County, there's 1,000 customers out there. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. So that's all I got, Kevin.
Okay. Yeah. So there's some areas I've had some power outages here. We haven't had a lot. Love to see that. Definitely want to see that. But I think it becomes a waiting game. We kind of said, this first round, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then, that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock was going to be that next bigger round. So Big question marks as to how much longer this little round kicks through. I mean, it's moving. It's actually moving at a pretty good clip here. So as that clears out, we're going to be watching back here. Storms to fire right through here. And that starts happening maybe about 3 o'clock. I mean, this stuff's going to be out of here by 3 o'clock for sure. So it's just how much more of this stuff's going to keep kind of lingering back here. And then also we have to consider some of these little outflow boundaries that that could get kind of laid out here. And that plays a role into some of the later storm development that has always been the number one kind of concern, right? Well, you know, what do these outflow boundaries do? And will they affect the later day storms? So that's what we got here for you right now, folks. All right. About 12:30. Let's see what our folks at the Weather Service, if they're kind of saying anything. Not a whole lot of chat. I'll say this, the Storm Prediction Center still has the moderate risk for us. And these are the brightest folks out there, man. I mean, these folks, they do this every day across the country. They issue these outlooks every day. They're going to know more. I mean, I'll just say it, they're going to know more than us. I'm fine saying that. There are smarter people there, first to admit it. And so, you know, you trust these folks. And if they still think that there's a decent chance for tornadoes and that moderate risk, they're going to issue it. If not, they'll back off on that forecast. But they're sticking with this here, despite these kind of morning storms. But again, we thought these morning storms would be here the whole time. This is not new. This is not something that we weren't anticipating. So the concern is still there for the afternoon and evening round to move through. We're just very fortunate that we didn't have 80-mile-an-hour winds with this first round. I think we got lucky on that one. Again, am I, am completely surprised by that? No, because, it's 10 a.m., it's 11 a.m. You don't get a lot of severe weather at those points of the day, and especially when the warm front isn't quite in here yet. You don't have that instability and moisture and everything and the low levels, but you will once that warm front starts to make its push to the north, which may start to happen. Here's what I'll do. I'll kind of show it to you guys. This is instability. It's starting to kind of creep in just a little bit. Lots of it out across Missouri, right? But right now, and we'll show you the radar. Why is there no instability up here? Well, it's because we've had rain. See how the showers and storms, they kind of kill it. So you're not getting that here, but let's take the radar off. Boom. And so what's going to happen is that rain clears. The warm front starts to lift a little bit more to the north. Look at St. Louis. St. Louis is 80. What is that? At 86? I think 86 degrees. Litchfield is that 80 degrees there? So, yeah, it's a lot warmer. But this is going to lift to the north. We're back up to 68 in Springfield. So the moisture increases, and yeah. Adam is here. What's up? They can probably go, right? I mean,
Since you were here, I was like,
is there somebody that could get us on? Is there,
So we need one person to say
It wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Wouldn't hurt, just in case. That's just in case. But I'm not too concerned. I definitely don't leave everybody, but if somebody could just stick around I just want to get these kind of southern storms through. Yeah. So basically, we've a little inside baseball to you folks there, but we've got production crew. They leave at 12:30. The new one doesn't come until 2. So sometimes there's kind of a lag there in between. And so I hate to keep the production crew around if they don't have to be here. And so far, there's just, we haven't had that, but I'm still just watching these kind of southern storms. We're going to watch Effingham County here as that little guy comes through. But again, all along we said that this is going to be more of an afternoon thing, an evening thing. So here's some of that instability starting. So these colors that you see here, you have to get more of these. What is that? Yellow, beige, I don't know, whatever we're going to call it, more into our area. And, some of the orange, that's what would start to make me concerned with eventual storms that come through later, tapping into that instability. But right now, listen, you're not getting a tornado in Champaign at this moment because you don't have any instability. Got to have that. There's no CAPE, convective available potential energy, measured in joules per kilogram. We don't have any there. But as the warm front lifts to the north, that will change. Can I show? I don't know if I have frontal positions. Oh, yeah, I do. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So this is the depiction of where that warm front is. And it might be a little bit north. Oh yeah, it's coming down here at the station right now. So this red line that you see right here, it's depicting it through Decatur, Oakland. I think it might be a little north. I mean, it's close. Yeah, I mean, the dew point's 65. Okay, that actually might be pretty close because those dew points are Seneca. But look at the dew point in Champaign at 61. It's 58 up here in Bloomington. So yeah, it actually might be pretty close to that. So that's the warm front. So right now, the severe storms that would occur are going to be south of this front. And the concern is okay, all right, this front, as it moves north, you get a wind shift along the front there. And you get some southeast winds, and then you start to get some south, winds as you go up out of the west. And there's concern there. So as this front continues to lift north, it puts all of us in play for that severe weather later. So that's why. So basically, watch the warm front, watch the dew points if you really want to kind of follow along with things today. If you look at just the dew point numbers, and some apps show it, all right, when you start to see that increase mid upper 60s as opposed to low 60s and upper 50s, when you start seeing that number go up, that means that warm front's starting to get to your area. You can also look at things like the wind direction there. So kind of that southeast wind here. Once you start seeing more of that south wind, you're going to be south of the warm front. Okay, so it's kind of happening right about through there. So you can look at the wind direction there. South wind, you're south of the warm front. Southeast wind, you're kind of right on the warm front. And anything that's, east is going to be north of the warm front. So just one way to kind of look at things. Okay. 12:35. So I'll just tell you this, folks. There's a good chance that we may do a little bit of a break in the live stream coming up here. So just want to tell you folks that so we're on here with you now. We're just kind of babysitting these storms, is what we say, babysitting the storms. I'm just going to keep an eye on a couple of these here that may start coming down to Effingham, but we haven't had any warnings here as of late. And just general rain here for now. Like I said, it's coming down pretty good here at the station once again. Let's see if we can we get any rainfall totals? See if this populates or not. I don't know if it will. You might have some of that. Okay, so there you go. So this is taking into account also yesterday's rain, but an inch and a half, maybe. I mean, there's some good rain over there near St. Joe, I know. Some of that hail from yesterday, but much heavier rain to our north and west. Past couple of days, rain. Again, nothing severe right now. Watsika, Hoopston, Danville. You're good. Farmer City, Hayworth, Clinton, you're okay right now. Strongest stuff by far is the stuff down here that is kind of rolling through northern Fayette County and just pushing into Effingham County, but even it is below severe limits. What's going to happen out here? This is what we're going to look at. Development of additional storms after 3 p.m. And these storms here going to leave an outflow boundary maybe right through here. I tend to think like kind of where this line is here. I think later on, some of those storms could interact with some outflows out here in this general area here. So I-57 there in Neoga to Mattoon, southeast of Humboldt, got a little cell there coming into Atwood. Getting the rain so far. Again, this will be the place later on today. It won't be this stream here because we're most likely going to end this stream here before too long. And then we'll start up the new one later. So that will, once you see that notification, and make sure wherever you're watching from, whatever page that you're on, that you like, or I should say, follow it, and turn on the notifications. So then you'll know next time that we're live. And that will come as some of the first warnings start getting issued later on today. But I think we may catch this little small window of a break, roughly 1 to 3 o'clock. And then after 3 p.m., maybe closer to 4 and 5 is probably when we'll start to click things back on again. So I'll say this right now, we're not looking at anything severe at this moment. Still potential for that to change later on. I stress this too. And I'm going to come on full camera to say this. Not everyone is going to see a tornado today. Actually, a lot of you won't. Vast majority of you won't. I'll say out of all of the hundreds of thousands of people in the area, 90% of you won't. Maybe 10% of you do. Now, obviously in a populated area, but there's going to be a lot of you that don't get anything. But there is a decent chance for tornadoes still to form later on today. But I think when people see this graphic here, and I'll pull it up. When they see this graphic here, they go, huh, everybody's going to get a tornado. And it doesn't work that way. This is the statistical probabilities that have the highest chance for tornadoes. Unfortunately, we can't say down to the town and the street and the house exactly yet. Now we can do that leading up to the storm 15, 30 minutes before a storm a lot of times. But in those hours and even sometimes days before, we're not able to exactly nail that down just yet. But this is the area where all the ingredients will be in place later. So Watseka, Danville, Paris, Champaign, Decatur, Taylorville, Springfield, Lincoln, Effingham aren't all going to see a tornado. But there's a good chance that at least somebody in that area does later today. You just hope it's not you. So just keep that in mind. Not everyone will get that, which is good, right? We don't want any tornadoes. But I think that with the high parameters today, that's why the Storm Prediction Center has the moderate risk. There's just it's a weird setup that doesn't happen often, right? With kind of the winter, wind fields, jet stream coming across during the middle. I mean, the polar jet is here. I don't know if you guys know what the polar jet stream is. It sits here in the winter time. It gives us winter storms, right? And that retreats to the north usually this time of the year. And it hasn't. It's down here right now. And that combined with still that springtime, summer-like moisture and warmth, coming up for the north, coming to get those two don't align. And we may get some of that, excuse me, we call in the cool season tornadoes, and you can get some of that in the weird months. We've got tornadoes in November, they line up there sometimes, but it's let me try to explain it here a little bit better. So like in the winter, you can get instability, it only takes 500 to 1,000, CAPE instability with those winter wind fields. So you don't need a lot of CAPE in the wintertime to get severe storms. Well, today, there potentially could be double the CAPE with those winter-like wind fields. And that's why today is different, right? So if you get 2,000 CAPE and the winter time kind of polar jet coming in and the wild kind of wind structure, that's like double worse. That's a word, double worse, doubly bad. I don't know. From having a wintertime system, say in November, December, where the instability is usually meager just because, well, you don't get a lot of that in the wintertime. But we're seeing kind of the double of the parameters there. So that's why this is it's different. It doesn't happen all the time like this. And why there is the concern and why everybody's like, whoa, wait a second. We're going to have those two combined to each other. But I think the one thing that we're dealing with here is looking at, well, we've got to keep that in mind though, too. But this morning round, as it comes through, what is it doing to the atmosphere? And in the wintertime, it can be harder to recharge the atmosphere. In the spring and summertime, it's a lot easier. Okay. The sun's out, what's sunset now? Like 8:30 or I don't even know. It's out a lot longer. The heating of the day, you may not get the peak heating of the day till 5 o'clock, this time of the year. And in the wintertime, that's sometimes 2 or 3 o'clock, right? So there's a few more hours there. And so you kind of take that into account. I hope that's making sense. Oh no, do we got some trolls in the chat? Trolls in the chat, trolls in the chat. Love it. Thanks for the engagement. We appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate the engagement. No, what's funny is the folks that come in and type. They just help. They help the engagement numbers. So, all right, but you're speaking off into kind of no man's land because whatever. So, welcome, trolls. Sitting at home on a Wednesday afternoon. All right. little cell there. Strengthen a little bit. Tuscola, some heavier rain, Arcola. Let's see what the lightning shows. Lightning always a good indicator there. A little bit more lightning on our cell over there near, what is that? Oh, Bethany. West of Bethany. Tuscola to Arcola. Good old-fashioned thunderstorms here so far. These are the kind of storms, at least to this point, I would love to be at home, sitting on the deck, watching the storm come through, or, laying in bed, hearing the rain come down. Favorite kind of storms, not severe storms. What is everybody doing today? Just curious. Well, this is so it's kind of funny. We're 12 hours off from what we call kind of after midnight, when we get on the stream and things go off the rails a little bit sometimes. But it's afternoon now. There's Jacob. Jacob knows. He knows what we're talking about. But while we got a little time here, where you guys are just hanging. Listen, I'm into work 2.5 hours early here, so we're gonna roll with this here. We're also streaming on the WCA3 Plus app, I was told too. Jacob, they've got us on there. And so this is a great time to kind of, talk about that. Is we're streaming on WCA3 Plus, and so there's normal programming that's on there. They blew it out, and it's just going to be us here. And we've got our WCA3 Plus engineer, master of ceremonies, guru, Mr. Norbot, who helps kind of run all this for us. Says he's got us going at least through 4, and I told him, well, we might go even later than that. I'm sorry, I just had to laugh at this comment. So Jacob, we've got a chat thread, and Jacob just made a comment, and let me see if I can't illustrate what he just said, and maybe I'll share it with you guys here. I'm trying to pull up. So obviously today is a day where it's interesting because it's not only us, but there are many people that had the thought that today was going to be a big day for potential severe weather. I don't know if I can turn on. All right, stand by. Stand by here, folks. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to shut the radar off. Shut that off. Okay. So there are a lot of storm chasers and a lot of spotters that are in town, right? And I don't know if this is going to depict it very well, but we're going to try. So that's kind of tough to kind of see, but there's a ton of spotters in Springfield. See all these little dots that are here? Dots. There's a bunch of Champaign dots. They're driving here on I-55. A lot of storm chasers, a lot of spotters here. Actually, there's another way that I can show this. Let me, hopefully. Yeah. All right. Bear with me here, folks. This is a better way. Go to radar. All right, look at all the red dots. Okay, there we go. There's the red dots. All of these red dots are storm chasers or spotters here, and they are lined up across the area. And Jacob made the funny comment, I'm more likely to get hit by a spotter right now than a chaser, or spotter and chaser, than a storm at this point. It's kind of true. I mean, just look at all of them out there. So I know the Reed Timmers of the world said he was going to be here. A lot of those storm chasers that, I mean, they get to do this for a living. And let me tell you, am I jealous of you? If there happens to be, and I don't, obviously there's not going to be a storm chaser probably monitoring our feed here, except for some of our local guys, and we've got some local guys here that do that chase with us. Well, there's Jake up there, but we've got some of the local folks. What is it? Who are some of those local ones here that do it? Jacob, you got. I'll turn your audio on here, but like, is it Luke over there? And there's a Melissa, and like, there's some different ones that I know that are from the area that often chase. Who are some of those ones that we know about that do that a lot here and monitor our feed sometimes?
Yeah, I know Tyler Abbott over in Sangamon County. He's pretty good. Him and I have been messaging a little bit today. Luke Zimmerman typically is out. He works up in Chicago. He's from Monticello. Him and I went to school together in FFA. Melissa King down in Cumberland County. She's good. She's always messaging me some amazing photos. Well worth a follow on Facebook there. Andrew Pritchard, good solid dude from Champaign-Urbana Weather. And Jeff Frame, also University of Illinois typically, but Jeff Frame and some of the students from University of Illinois are out chasing. And I believe they are in Northeast Missouri. They opted to avoid this area out of safety concerns with the fast-moving storms, the rain-wrapped situation, the chasers in the area, and I think they've made the decision to try and catch slightly slower storms down that way. I haven't heard an update, but last night that's what they were talking about there. So, and then my dad goes out too, up in Gibson City. Him and I have been going out for a long time and chasing there. And then you and I, Kevin. And I know there's a lot of other local folks that are great. I could keep going. How much time are we just filling time here now? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, yeah, we're just kind of, we're just kind of hanging out here for a second. I'm just kind of I just want to make sure this kind of first line gets through here, and I hate to stop the stream and then like 10 minutes later to come back on and restart it here. So we're just kind of filling some time here and talking to some people or reading some of the questions and whatnot. And so yeah.
Yeah, I decided to move north to Sullivan. And I'm going to kind of make my way back, Kevin. I just think the Decatur, Champaign, Tuscola, Mattoon, Charleston corridor stands out to me. And that's our core, some of our core territory. Our territory is, all the way west of Jacksonville, north to Kankakee, south to Effingham. So I don't want to discount anyone, but that's the area to me that just maybe stands out a little bit more. And so we're going to watch. So I'm going to make my way to Sullivan. Maybe I should ask and see if they got enough water in town there yet, Kevin.
Yeah, no doubt. That's for sure. Okay. Jake, you want me to leave your audio on? Or do you want to? I was gonna scroll through the chat here and do some questions here. What do you want me to do?
You can leave me up. You can take me off. Just whatever you want to do. You just tell me so I don't start, making noises.
All right, we'll leave you on here for just a second here. So, come over here to the old chat here for a second.
To my north, so we can enjoy that.
See what's going on here in the old. There's several thousand people that are tuned in here, so we'll as we again monitor these storms. Got a little storm coming into Effingham now. All right, fire some questions off here in the chat if you want to, folks. Better safe than sorry. Yep, that's definitely true with this. Yes, we are in a lull.
The lightning's been super
right now. I mean, yeah, there are some storms out there. This is always going to be kind of that lull that was going to happen. Hoopston Watsika. I mean, you guys are kind of on that northern fringe here. It depends on just how far north that warm front gets. But there still could be some storms up that way. Watsika maybe a little bit less. But again, you're still the enhanced risk. So we can't discount that. again, Covington, Indiana, kind of the same thing. Like everybody's kind of on this potential round of storms here later on. All right. So, funny, somebody's asking the question, pineapple on pizza? The answer to that is always a firm no. Yes, we're in a lull right now, so I'm just trying to scroll through these questions. Getting a lot of the, what about my city? What about my city? What about my city? Oh, there's a good question there. Right now, we can't tell you the exact city. What's going to happen there? Can't do it. I have to say this a lot, but 15, 30 minutes before I can tell you, hey, your city's going to get hit. It's impossible to say. We've got the risk area, and it's a huge risk area, moderate risk. Everybody's under the same thing. But this is a good question here, and I know all of us kind of go through this. So I know this weather can be exciting for you guys, but do you find yourself worried about your own houses, your friends, and family? Or do you get only worried when you know it's exactly on top of your neighborhood? And yeah, that's kind of me today. My wife, my kid, and even my parents are home today. They actually came to my house because I've got a basement and whatnot. And so they all stayed home. Son didn't go to daycare. Wife's work actually closed at noon today. They closed the office. And then my parents live over in Indiana. They actually came over. So we made plans. We altered things just for that potential of an event that could happen today. So I'll be worried, yes, later if, that storm's coming right over Mahomet. But we do have a basement, so that's the best place to be. So, but yeah, you worry for that, but I'm glad to know that they're all going to be there together here today. So yeah, we had to think about those kind of things for us today. I don't know, Jacob, you're in a bad area there right now. I'm not sure where you're at, but your signal's a little rough. Let's see where you're at. All right, go ahead and talk for me and see if we can hear you.
Can you hear me now, Kevin?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mic check, go to the 5. Okay, so I'm just passing Lake Shelbyville. I would add to that question too. Is I told my wife, I said, listen, when things are going down, I don't want to have to worry about you. I sent her to her parents in Mahomet that have a basement. We don't have a good basement in our place, and so I just said, you take Denny and you go there and just spend time there, and I'll trust that you're there, and then I don't have to worry about it, because what I want to do is limit the distractions to the personal side so I can focus on what's happening in the area. I don't have to think about, okay, Mahomet, tornado's coming. I know she's paying attention. I know she's safe. My parents, they're well aware what's going on up in Gibson City. They'll be out spotting and providing information if needed. And, Dad's been doing that for a long time. And so, I kind of say the message that I tell friends and family isn't really that much different than the message that we tell the general public, Kevin. I'm not going to tell my family and friends, it's not that bad today, but I'm going to tell everyone else, hey, it's really bad today, right? Or vice versa. Not so bad today, but hey, friends, families, watch out, go buy a bread, milk, and eggs. Like, we're not playing that game, right? The message is the same for everyone, but it sounds like you did the same. Just eliminate the person.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about her when that time comes, Kevin.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I was kind of the same thing. I was like, man, wife would have been driving home from work at that time, would have been picking up the kid from daycare at that time. Then I got my parents over in Indiana, and it's like, let's put you on one spot, put you in the safe space there, and they can have their listen. Zachary very happy he gets to go down to the basement and play down there, so he's all for it. So they're just gonna have a nice little afternoon and evening, hopefully, and listen again. Hopefully nothing happens. Here's another good question for you, Jacob. All right, where'd it go? Oh no, did it go away? Somebody asked. Oh. Who's a big name storm spotter or chaser that you'd like to run into? Well, not really run into, they said, but like, is there a spotter or chaser that if you're out today that you wanted to have a conversation with and chat up? Is there anybody that comes to mind for you?
I honestly don't keep up that much with who is actually out there, but I've ran into people before, and I'm happy to have a conversation, with anyone. I've had some people just at the gas station stop and ask questions. That's totally fine to me. We always have joked if Jeff Frame is going after a storm, Kevin, buckle up. Of course, he's not here because he's got the field trip for the University of Illinois students in the meteorology program. They're out in Northeast Missouri. I think they've made a decision to avoid the worst and try the secondary target. I've gotten messages afterwards, too, from chasers. Hey, and I've messaged another. I saw you driving by. So I don't know if there's anyone that I'm like, yeah, I want to meet this person. It's just kind of fun to meet all the different people in some ways. Who's there and who you're meeting, whether they're new, experienced, somewhere in the middle. I really enjoy being in here with you, Kevin, though. But I know that's not possible now since Seth has departed for greener pastures. But we've had some good memories of the Storm Tracker, you and I together.
Plenty of pictures of me eating chicken wings and pizza and whatnot. Yes, we've definitely had some good times for sure. Is there a best place within a basement to take shelter? I've gotten that question a lot over the years. And should you be in the southwest corner? Should you be in? To me, there's really not. There's not one corner to another, in my opinion. That's going to be better. But basement, lowest level of your home there is what's important. All right.
Driving through Sullivan, Kevin, and there's still some piles of tree limbs and stuff on the sides of the roads in the last round of storms that came on through.
Sure. Yeah, there's still a lot of people cleaning up the mess from last week here. They're not, there's still trees and whatnot, damage to structures. You just hope that doesn't turn into more flying debris later.
I'm sure too, Kevin, another question I tend to always get, and maybe you haven't seen the specific one, but a lot of times people ask, how do you stay safe? And, that. I honestly think, Kevin, that the plan today for me in the Storm Tracker, there's some days where storms are slow. They're very highly visible. You'll see the tornadoes. We've both had some success with that. I actually don't know if I'll see a tornado today specifically because if storms are rain wrapped, I may look where the tornado is, but it may be shrouded in rain there. It may not be visible to me. The more, the way I think I'm representing this is maybe I have a chance to see the storm go by, but it's more, instead of storm chasing, I'm almost in disaster response, right? Where does the damage happen? That's the place that I'm going immediately after the storms. And so there's almost a shift. Yes, I'm in the Storm Tracker. Oh, I'm chasing storms. I'm out. I'm going to look at the tornadoes. And maybe I do see a tornado today. I hope there's no tornadoes today, but I think those tornadoes have a decent chance of being wrapped up in the rain and hard to actually visually see. I'm more concerned the images that I'm going to bring to TV later are perhaps damaged homes, damaged businesses, a town gets hit, things like that. That's maybe another way. We're playing it very conservatively today. We're playing it very safe. I'm not getting close if I don't think it's safe, right? Sometimes we can get close to those tornadoes that are highly visible and we can bring those really cool views. There's a chance that it's going to be wrapped up in rain and nearly hard to see unless you are right on it. And that's not a risk at this point, Kevin, that I'm willing to take. So that's kind of the purpose of us being out here is, one, yes, we would love to show the tornado on TV if there is one, because we know people respond to that a whole lot more than just seeing a radar. But number two, if we get damage on TV as soon as we possibly can, we know people respond to that much more. And as unfortunate as it is for the people who have been damaged, places downstream then realize the severity of the situation, oh, look, that roof is gone. Oh, that wall's collapsed. Oh, the signs are knocked over. That damage, I think, tells a bigger story even on a day like today than trying to see a tornado will. Kevin?
Yeah, definitely. Great kind of explanation there of why we do what we do, as we do. We've found that people definitely do respond more when we're showing the stuff, showing the damage. People, because everybody sits at home or they go out on their porch, let's see the storm. And then, when we go, look, this thing just, took out a bunch of trees and power lines or structures to homes. It does make people kind of react there. More questions? No, my sump pump should be working right now, but I'm gonna have to work on that in the coming days when things calm down. But for now, it's hopefully working. I hope it doesn't go down here today. That would be bad.
Zachary can take his tools down.
Yeah, Zachary, he's down there. He'll figure it out. Scrolling through comments. Bum, 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 bum. Rebecca, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the nice comment. Love your coverage. Every time we have a storm, you guys are on it. I appreciate you. Yeah. This has become old hat to us here, especially over the last several months here in springtime. Time for the most danger in Danville.
The longest spring ever.
Yeah, it has been a long spring. Still spring for a few more days. Time frame for Danville, I'm just going to roughly say 5 to 8, 9 o'clock. Roughly. Again, sorry guys, just a ton of comments. We have thousands of people watching, so just trying to scroll through the comments to see. Sue's saying what? I have no basement, no inner rooms, big windows everywhere. Live in Bloomington. What should I do? Gotta have some kind of inner room, right? Is there a closet, bathroom? And if not, maybe try to go find shelter with a friend that does. Usually, a structure, obviously outside of a mobile home, it's got more walls than just one. Yep, bathroom with the tub is good. Will the instability change throughout the day? Is it going to be consistent with what you showed us earlier? Yeah, as that warm front lifts up, the instability will get a little bit more.
Kevin, I don't know if you saw, there's a new mesoscale discussion for just west of us, so Western Illinois, Missouri. They're saying tornado watch going to be needed over there. So
here's the question that I have for you, Jacob. The new tornado watch that comes out, do you think that is a PDS tornado watch?
Ooh, that's a good question. This here, for folks listening, PDS stands for particularly dangerous situation. And it's kind of a technical term. Think of a tornado warning, and then there's a tornado emergency. Well, there's tornado watch, and then there's PDS tornado watch. It's kind of the next step up even from that. And that's reserved for those rare days. We might flirt with that, Kevin, to be totally honest with you. But I think the messaging, if it's a tornado watch or a PDS tornado watch or an 8 or a 9 or a 10 or a high or a moderate or an enhanced, I don't think any of that changes what our viewers should do, right? Tornado warning is a tornado warning. Doesn't matter if it's a marginal risk day in April or a moderate risk day in June. That being said, I think that's probably in the talking points for that. I'm curious. There's a certain percentage of probabilities they've got to reach, and there's a spatial area factor to that. So I'll be curious how broad that area they issue the watch for is. That's maybe my thoughts, but it wouldn't surprise me on a day like today, Kevin.
Yeah, it's possible. We'll see. I don't know if the mesoscale. I haven't pulled up the mesoscale yet, but if they had hinted at anything there, but it is interesting. If you look at the area, and actually you can see, I believe the graphic that we have there. Let me see if I can pull it up. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so I think that's the mesoscale discussion, as long as Adam's downstairs, and so I can't see if he's actually over there updating that graphic, but I'm pretty sure that it is. Let me see. Yeah, that's it right there. So that actually goes all the way back into Missouri too, interestingly enough. 95% probability of that new watch coming. I'm just gonna listen. I'm gonna read this to you guys, and it may be a lot of jargon, but I'll read it to you guys just so you guys can kind of hear it with me too. So from the Storm Prediction Center, morning convection. So again, convection are these thunderstorms here, has moved into central eastern Illinois with a trailing outflow and some differential heating extending across northern Missouri into south central Illinois. This zone will be the focus of redevelopment of thunderstorm activity this afternoon. Strong daytime heating is ongoing across central northern Missouri into far western Illinois in the cloud-free zone south of the outflow. Mesoanalysis indicates that basically SIN inhibition is eroding in this region. Temperatures climbing into the mid-80s, further confirmed on the visible satellite trends, with cumulus fields near the vicinity of the outflow also becoming increasingly agitated. Strong deep layer shear, 50 to 55 knots, analyzed across this region. STP around 2 to 3. Significant tornado parameter, northern Missouri into far western Illinois. This is a combination with strong to moderate instability. Edging northward will likely support initial supercells capable of large hail damaging winds and tornadoes, perhaps strong. 40 to 50 knot low level jet axis extends from southern central plains into Missouri, western Illinois. This is a prog to shift north and east through the afternoon, which may shift the higher STP and more favorable tornado potential to portions of western and central Illinois.
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to hop off real quick on my audio, and I'm going to listen on the conference call the National Weather Service is having, and I'll report back to you after that.
Yeah. Sounds great. All right, so Jacob is going to hop on there with the conference call with our friends at the National Weather Service, and he'll report back to us on what he has heard. But there is that severe weather update. Tornado watch likely. So that's the area that that watch is probably going to come here pretty soon. Oh, here's a good one here. Going back to some of your guys' questions, I've heard people say to crack windows before a tornado comes. Is that good or bad advice? Bad advice. The fact that you're over by your window, not a good thing. If you're opening your windows, you're also, allowing, maybe debris to come in. There's no equalization of the pressure that's going to help if you open your windows up. Forget the windows and go take shelter. So it sounds like I'm getting this is a good comment here if this is true, and I don't know why anybody would make this up, but says the Champaign-Urbana, somebody commented this, Champaign-Urbana Public Health District opening up their facility at 201 West Kenyon Road as a free emergency shelter during the storm. Residents can enter at the south loading dock. Service animals are allowed. Shelter remain operational through 5 o'clock. Okay, well, if the weather persists, they'll remain open until conditions are safe. So, I mean, I'm going to go by that being as true. I don't know why somebody would fall asleep with it in there, but there you go. Okay. Again, still scrolling through some of your comments here. I'm about 5 minutes behind on the comments. There's been so many. Hey, I like this one from John. Thanks to all of you. Your insight is welcome. If your forecast is wrong, I owe you dinner. If your forecast is right, thank you for alerting us. Dinner still on me. Forget the trolls. Keep on keeping on. Yeah, crack in the window is not a big deal. All right. Yep. You guys just got a pretty good little storm down in Effingham. That looks to be clearing out there. So here we go, folks. Starting to see things clear out. So just look at this here, just from this perspective. This area here starting to clear out. Sun coming out. So we'll have I just kind of look at things here, you know, you look at that area for storms to develop here later on in the next couple of hours. Still all of you here for the nice comments. When is it supposed to get bad? Asking for my manager to see if we should shut the store down. So we're still thinking that's not going to happen until, 5 o'clock ish. And again, kind of depends upon where. Let's pull up the model again for you. And show it to you. We'll just show it to you. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I want to pull up a different model, a different way to show you guys something. So bear with me for a second. Okay, we're going to pull up. We're going to pull up these here. Pull up the newest model. Let's see what the newest model. The newest model is this one here. And stand by, folks. We'll show you what the newest model is saying in terms of storms. Hopefully. Okay. Let's see if you guys can see this. Just want to make sure you guys can see that. Okay, so there we go. So we've got these storms that are kind of rolling through right now, according to the model here. It's actually pretty close, right? So 3 o'clock, it wants to start firing off more of these storms out here near Beardstown and Havana and Mason City. $4 o'clock. So the question is, how far to the northeast do some of these little individual discrete cells eventually develop? Or, I mean, like that storm there over Decatur, that storm over there near Springfield, that storm near Jacksonville. Those are all potentially going to be rotating. You know, is this one up here in Gibson City doing that? You know, but there's Sullivan, there's Taylorville, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, Charleston, Mattoon, Cowden, Paris. So that's what the models are trying to do, the newest ones. So again, we've got this rain that's kind of been through up here in Champaign. So the question is do you see how those little cells develop here on that, you know, up here? That is the $1 million question. How far to the northeast do these cells form? Do they come into Champaign County, or is it just southwest there? But these are definitely rotating. Like these storms here. And we look at some of the composite parameters on this stuff. And so yeah, you got this enhanced area starting to form. I mean, especially, I mean, look at that little, you know, it's not to say that's going to be exact, but I think as I just look at things here, I'm going off of what some of the models are showing, but also just going off of what's happening here. Like some of these storms here into Moultrie, maybe get into Coles County, Shelby County, Christian County. I just have some concern about that area right now. Here in a couple of hours, you know, just based upon what these models are showing here as those move to the south. So I know initially with you know, some of these models are trying to put more of this a little bit more to the north, and that's still possible, but I mean, Decatur at 4 o'clock, you know, that might be off an hour. I'd be surprised if, you know, these are off slightly by an hour or so, but that's what we're kind of looking at here, folks. Here's that Storm Prediction Center outlook. Still has that because they're taking into account that warm front lifted north.
Hello. I haven't heard anything. I'm gonna check my email now here.
Jacob, are you back with us here? I was kind of starting to hear you a little bit there.
Is there no one there?
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, that's actually a horrible observation there. Somebody was saying, does it look to be more south of 72 and less likely north of 74? I mean, it looks like that could be the case, but I don't want to say for sure. Because again, when you look at the SPC outlook, I mean, I don't want to, I'm not going against the folks there, that's for sure. But if I'm just looking at some of the current parameters of things, I lean just a little bit maybe south of I-74. But it's still possible. I mean, that moderate risk area, it's still possible. It just kind of depends on how far north is that does that warm front kind of get? How much do we recover? I mean, let's go back to the radar and look at it. I mean, if just based upon this right now, right? If we kind of drew the line of where it's not really raining right now, I mean, so you're kind of looking at that corridor there, but things are starting to clear. The warm front's starting to lift north. But I mean, it's still raining. It's 1:30. We thought the rain would be out. You know, we've still got some of these little scattered showers kind of hanging around. So but I mean, look at this Springfield, Taylorville. I mean, this area is clear now. Jacob's getting gas, it looks like. Gassing up. I just got to, Jacob, where are you at? They want to know where you're at.
Kevin, are you going to try and play the game Find Me on radar, or do you need me to tell you?
Oh, hold on here. Let's see. Wait, that looks like is that a Casey's? Are you at a Casey's?
I am at a Casey's, but every town has a Casey's. So that does not
That's
help.
true. So he's at a Casey's.
I'll say this. I passed damage that we covered in December.
Damage that we covered in December. I don't know that that's going to help me much.
That's true. There's been a lot between now and then.
Yeah, I've slept since then. Well, you did say you were going to make your way to Mattoon. But I can't remember where you were earlier.
Is the spotter icon working?
Okay, I'm going to turn it on. Oh, are you in Mount Zion?
Yeah. I am in Mount Zion. I went that way.
Oh, okay.
Because I was in Sullivan earlier.
You're actually probably in a good...
I'll get some gas and find some lunch.
Well, you're probably in a good spot there because, again, if people are looking at your icon there, that's kind of on the edge of like where that clearing has started to take shape. So, yeah. Oh, what did we just get? I just got something on my phone. What is this? Oh.
They're dropping the tornado watch that's currently in place, and they're expecting a new tornado watch to come out soon. It may be 3 o'clock before that happens, but the key message is that they're ending the morning threat, now watching for the evening threat. And some of that as well, Kevin, is because that clearing, as you were just talking about there, they're watching that and watching storms already trying to fire there out in northern Missouri and northwest Illinois. That rapid destabilization seems to be underway.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'll let you go do what you need to do.
I'm going to get gas.
Sounds good.
And yeah, we'll talk soon.
Okay. All right. So there we go. There he is. Jacob's in Mount Zion right now. Well, let's look at this because this is kind of interesting. Okay, so a lot of cloud cover out here, folks. Lots of clouds. Clearing, taking shape back here, but yeah, definitely that cloud cover still showing up. Sunshine back into Missouri. The question is all this cloud cover here, is there going to be some of that clearing start to move in? But it's still pretty cloudy. And even thinking, I'm looking at our weather camera there in Springfield. I'm just curious what kind of clouds we got. That's Champaign, so very overcast here. Bear with me here. I'm going to pull up our Springfield camera and just see what it looks like. So yeah, there's still that kind of layer of clouds, even there in Springfield. Even though it's not raining, there's still some of the clouds. So are there any breaks in the clouds coming? But you know, when you look at it on that satellite picture, it's still pretty cloudy. Let's look at some current observations because this can be helpful. Current observations right now. So look at temperatures here. I mean, it's 61 in Rantoul. I mean, 64 in Champaign. But look at Taylorville, Shelbyville, Charleston, Neoga. Starting to warm up a little bit. 70 degrees. Look at dew points. So that front there starting to make a little push, basically from near Beardstown, probably right through Springfield, Decatur, cutting there through Charleston, Paris. Dew points starting to come up a little bit. Winds. See how the winds shift here? You've got like a southeasterly and almost easterly wind. I mean, northern wind, northwesterly wind. That's wow. And it just turns right through there. Got any gusts right now? 36 mile an hour gust. Shelbyville, Litchfield 44. So that's some of that upper level energy starting to come in. Temperature and winds. You can kind of see that boundary right about, I mean, it's tucked in right through there. How much warmer it is out in Missouri. 80s, mid 80s. Warm front on the move. All right, folks, so it's 1:30. Here's what we're going to do for you folks. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed our live streaming that we've been doing here with you. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Okay, guys. And I know a lot of you watching us here, and we thank you for kind of jumping in here with us. So what we're going to do here is take a small little break and then kind of come back with you guys here when that next round starts to form, when that new tornado watch that might get issued. And again, you can really kind of, I mean, look, it's 89 in St. Louis. It's 73 in Effingham. So this first little round has done its thing to kind of rob some of the atmosphere. So now we're in the, all right, how much of the atmosphere recharges, and are we going to get that to occur? So Jacob's going to move. He'll probably go grab a little bite to eat, and I think we'll kind of do the same thing here, kind of reset things here from the local level, and then kind of jump back on with you guys here when the next round gets through. But we're kind of in that lull period that we kind of said this whole time. Probably occur 1:30 to 3:30 or so, and then it's just going to be a quick kind of like firing back up of storms here later on. So we'll jump back on with you guys here in just a little bit and have much more. So stick around, and then when that next round forms, we'll come back here with you. But for now, we take a break. Again, we watch this second wave that's expected to fire up here later on today. Or it'll be rapid. It'll be like all of a sudden, be like boom. There'll be some of these storms. So hopefully they can stay below severe limits, but we don't have that. We don't have that as a likely scenario. It's always a possible scenario, but we think that it is still likely for storms to kind of start to form out here near I-55 and then just kind of move through the area. We'll see how things happen, but we'll be back with you here in a little bit and have more. So until then, do what you got to do here as we've got a little bit of a break from the storms, and then we'll watch and see how things play out later this evening. So thanks, folks. We'll see you soon.